The story begins in a luxurious building where there were many people, and the main character thinks that he feels this feeling again. A guy with blue eyes and black hair thinks that even though he's seeing all this for the first time, he feels a strange nostalgia. Come to think of it, this isn't the first time he's had this feeling. He remembers his past and thinks that he has encountered this often. He doesn't even know how many times this is. He feels as if he has lived here since birth. He was brought out of his thoughts by a woman's voice calling him Mr. Jean-Free Vanridge. She smiles at him and says that she is sorry that he had to wait. He came to register with the guild, right? Jinfrey came up to her, agreed and said that she said everything correctly. The girl presses buttons and looks at her computer screen. Jinfrey looks at her silently and thinks that he has the feeling that he has already met her. The girl smiles friendly and says that everything is ready. Now he can see his status window. At the same moment, a system window appeared in front of Jinfrey, emitting a bright glow. In the system window, it is written that the registration of an adventurer. In order to authenticate, he must wave his right hand. Jinfrey was very surprised by what he saw in front of him and recognized it. He looks at this system window and thinks that now everything is clear. It's a weird feeling of déjà vu. He looks at his right hand and thinks that now he has remembered everything. The girl was a little embarrassed when she noticed that he was lost in thought and asked if there was something wrong with him. Jinfrey is lost in memories and thinks that a lot of memories flashed before his eyes of how he explored this world. He remembers several people he was with and thinks that this is the place. This is the game he played all the time. He was even considered a professional player. This is the world of the Grand 7 game. Adventurers travel across 7 continents to achieve peace between countries. Online game in the style of a fantasy kingdom. That's where he is at the moment. Jinfrey is embarrassed by this and thinks that this cannot be true. What is going on? Why did these memories choose to manifest now? He is an ordinary young man who dreamed of becoming an adventurer. He came here for money to feed his family. His hand shakes and he thinks, but the world in which he was born and raised turned out to be a game that he happened to play in a past life? Jinfrey smiled slightly. A sparkle appeared in his eyes and he wondered, what is this great opportunity? The girl is worried about him, apologizes and asks if he's okay. He's shaking all over. Jinfrey apologizes to her for making her worry. He walks away in the other direction with a smile and says that he is simply burning with impatience. The girl looks at him with incomprehension and thinks that, to be honest, he shocked her. Jinfrey looks at the system window in front of him and wonders why his memories awaken now. No matter how much he thinks about it, he can't find the answer. In the system window, it is written that the registration of an adventurer, in order to authenticate, he must wave his right hand. Jinfrey thinks that, however, if he uses this knowledge, he can rise high. He did what is written in the system window, and a status window appears in front of him. Jinfrey Vanridge, age 19, level, profession, health points, and mana points unknown. Physical strength, defense, intelligence, agility, and luck are unknown. General characteristics, flexible, but does not pay much attention to detail. The girl looks at him with an embarrassed expression on her face and wishes him a happy journey. A portal appears in front of Jinfrey, which he immediately wants to enter. He finds himself on one of the flying islands and looks around in surprise. The system notifies that he has entered the baptismal altar. Jinfrey looks at all this in surprise and says that it looks just like a location from the game. He turns around and his attention is drawn to something next to him. He sees several people going about their business and thinks that this place usually gathers 5 newbie adventurers. He looks at these people and thinks that for now, all the events from the game are repeating themselves. However, he should remember that this is his reality now. It does not have an autosave feature. If he dies, he can no longer be resurrected. Jinfrey smiles and says that, however, if he uses these memories wisely, he can become a real adventurer. Someone says that the baptism ceremony will begin in 30 minutes. He asks everyone to prepare their weapons. Jinfrey smiles and says it looks like it has started. It was the same thing in the game. He looks at the guy who ran somewhere. Several weapons appear in the air near them, and this guy says that they should choose weapons in order. Different types of weapons continue to appear next to them. 2 people grabbed the handle of the same spear. In the system window, it is written that the name of the weapon, Guardian Spear, rank E+, attack power 21 points, strength 50 points. The guy loudly says that she should let it go. The girl is outraged by this and says that she was the first to take it. The guy with glasses reaches for a red sword, which is rank E, attack power 19 points, durability 60 points. The other guy punches him in the face and tells the idiot he has to let go. This sword belongs to him. Jinfrey looks at these people from the side, with a calm expression on his face, and says that the same thing happens every time. A system of forced choice of professions. At baptism, they are given a choice of professions that can be trained. However, this list is limited. Jinfrey looks at them and thinks that the newcomers were foaming at the mouth, trying to get something good for themselves. He tried to approach the choice of profession responsibly. The guy took the spear from the girl, which made her very angry, and this makes him very happy. He apologizes to the others, and with a wide smile says that the best has already gone to him. Jinfrey ignores him and walks away, and mentally thanks him for saying that. The guy gets angry because of his reaction, and calls him a damn upstart. Jinfrey walks towards the many weapons floating in the air, and wonders what would be better to choose. He walks for some time between these weapons and stops in front of a dagger that floats in the air. In the system window, it is written that the name of the weapon, an ordinary dagger, rank F with a minus, attack power 1 point, strength 90 points. The guy was surprised when he noticed that he stopped in front of this weapon and asked, does he seriously want to take a dagger that has 1 attack power point? He must not regret his bad choice later. Jinfrey ignores him and thinks that, of course, a sane adventurer would hardly take such a weapon. But what if he told them that the concept of common sense is distorted in this world? The opinions of ordinary static characters are applied to real people. And that is why he decided to choose a regular dagger. Someone's voice says that they are starting the baptism ceremony. They have 5 minutes left to kill as many monsters as possible. At the same moment, many flying monsters appear next to people. Jinfrey stands next to other people. They look at these monsters, and he thinks that this species only appears in the altar location, the honey centipede. His face became serious, and he thinks that their poison can paralyze a person. The guy who took the spear from the girl came up to him and said that he should try not to die here. He smiles looking at him and waits for at least some reaction from him. Jinfrey turns away from him and wonders what he did to him. He decides to ignore him and thinks that there was this kind of NPC during the baptism last time. Someone loudly announces that the baptism ceremony is beginning. Immediately after this, the monsters begin to move and people stand still and watch it. The monsters that fly around them begin to make loud sounds. Jinfrey looks at these monsters and thinks that they behave exactly the same as in the game. He looks at a certain point of this monster and thinks that this means that the weak points had not changed either. The monster begins to fly very quickly towards him, extending its sting forward. Jinfrey moves towards him and says that they shouldn't underestimate him. He quickly unsheathes his dagger before he even encounters the monster. He pulled out his dagger and immediately swung to strike at the monster, which he ran very close to. He strikes very quickly with his dagger and hits the monster's weak point and defeats it in 1 hit. After this, Jinfrey stood on the ground and the system notified that the honey centipede had been defeated. The people who noticed this were very surprised by what he had just done. Jinfrey smiles at this and thinks it was a direct hit. The bald guy says he did pretty well. He wonders how he managed to kill this monster with 1 blow. Jinfrey smiles slightly and thinks that every game has bugs. This game is no exception, although it only works in this location. Another monster flies in his direction, and he thinks that if he hits the weak point of the honey centipede with an ordinary dagger, it will die from 1 blow. He defeats another monster, and the system notifies that the honey centipede has been defeated. Jinfrey walks towards the many monsters and thinks that the same bug was in the game itself. And only he knows about it. The girl who took the other spear defends herself from the attack of one of the monsters that attacks her. The guy who took the sword looks at everything around him and thinks that he must at least kill someone. The bald guy swings his spear, and the system notifies that the honey centipede is defeated. He was very happy about this, laughs and says that they should look at what he can do. He says very loudly what it means to be a spearman. Jinfrey is annoyed by this and thinks that he found a bad time to shout about it. He is only attracting attention to himself. It was not such a popular profession among players. A monster flies towards him, extending its sting in his direction and making a very loud sound. Jinfrey easily dodged this monster's attack, and it flew next to him. He dodges another monster that tried to surprise him. He looks at these monsters and thinks that this is much more fun than it was in the game. One of the honey centipedes flies down towards him and is about to attack. Jinfrey notices this monster, looks at it, and immediately takes a stance to attack. His actions surprise this monster very much. Jinfrey strikes very quickly with a dagger, and the system notifies that the honey centipede is defeated. He turns around with a small smile, and someone announces that the ceremony has come to an end. Based on the results of baptism, they will be given a profession suitable for their skills. Immediately after that, a system window appeared in front of the guy with the sword. It says there that the number of enemies he killed was 7. He must choose one of the proposed professions. Profession of choice: hunter, potion maker, shield maker. He looks at it and says that he was only able to kill 7. Because of this, he will not be able to get a good profession. The girl looks at her system window and says that she wanted to become a summoner, but in the end, the guy with glasses is very upset because the system window says that the number of enemies killed is 0. He did not register as an adventurer. Further choice of profession is impossible. The bald guy laughs loudly and says that he defeated as many as 15 flying monsters. Now he can become a swordsman. In his system window, it is written that the number of enemies killed is 15. He must choose one of the proposed professions. Profession to choose from: fighter, thief, hunter, swordsman. He turns to the side with a very happy expression on his face, while the other guy looks at his system window. He looks at Jinfrey, who is looking at his system window with a thoughtful expression on his face. The bald guy calls him and asks what he has there. This brought Jinfrey out of his thoughts, and he immediately turned to him. The bald guy was very surprised when he saw his system window and asked what it was. He continues to look at this with great surprise and wonders how this is possible. In the system window, it is written that the number of killed enemies is 33. He must choose one of the proposed professions. Profession to choose from: swordsman, mage, thief, fighter, summoner, hunter, shield maker, healer, potion maker, alchemist. The guy wonders if any profession is really available to him. This guy killed 33 monsters. He leaves him with an embarrassed look on his face and says that he did a good job too. I could even become a swordsman. Jinfrey ignores him and says he's great. He thinks that with 15 kills, there is a 2% chance of the sword profession appearing on the list, so he was just lucky. In this game, the most powerful professions are swordsman and summoner. He wonders what he should choose from this. He reaches out to this list with his finger to click on what he has chosen. He clicked on what he needed, and the system notified that the profession had been chosen. He will have access to basic equipment according to his specialty. He made his choice. His profession is a potion maker. The people who stood next to him were very surprised because of the profession he chose. The bald guy was very embarrassed by this and loudly asked, "Is he an idiot? How could you choose this weak profession?" In the system window, it is written that Jinfrey Vanridge is level 1, profession potion maker, synthesis skill. He smiles widely because of that. That he has some kind of plan and opens his inventory. This so-called bad profession will only reveal itself in the hands of an experienced player. Jinfrey reaches out to the system window and thinks that it was not in vain that he killed 33 monsters. Something fell to him after all. In the system window, item icons are shown and the names are written. Honey Centipede Sting 5 pieces, rarity F. Honey Centipede Wing 9 pieces, rarity F. Honey Centipede Blood 3 pieces, rarity F. Jinfrey thinks that these items can only be obtained in this location. The bald guy looks at what he's doing and wonders what he's doing. Jinfrey is about to do something and says that there are 4 honey centipede stings, 5 honey centipede wings, 2 bottles of honey centipede blood, and 1 ordinary dagger. In the system window, it is written that his profession is a potion maker. The skill is synthesis. He can combine and synthesize any objects. The cost is 12 mana points. Jinfrey, with a serious expression on his face, activates this synthesis ability. All these materials combine into one thing, and it begins to emit strong energy. Jinfrey thinks that he chose this profession in order to create a weapon that can destroy this world. What he does is very shocking to the people who watch it. A purple dagger appears above Jinfrey's hands, and the system notifies that the synthesis is complete. He looks at this weapon with a smile and thinks that now everything is ready. In the system window, it is written that this weapon is a centipede, rank unknown, attack power 66 points, durability 1 in 500 points. Skill number 1 is Perception, active skill, triple damage when attacking vulnerable points. Skill number 2 and 3 are unknown. This will unlock under certain conditions. Jinfrey thinks that this is the perfect weapon. An adventurer's strength is determined by his profession and level. Equipment is just a tool used for attack and defense. However, in this world, there are also special types of equipment that show their power regardless of profession or level. Among professional players, such items are called hidden weapons. After some time in the first continent, the city of newcomer adventurers, Lagibijin. On the streets of this city, there are many stalls with different goods, around which many people walk. One of the merchants shows a beautiful and expensive sword to customers who are standing next to his store. Jinfrey stands in a crowd of people and says that he has finally reached the first continent. Everything here is the same as he remembered. A woman approaches him and asks if he would like to buy an apple. Jinfrey took this apple, began to eat it, and thinks that he got a profession, created a weapon, and now he needs to think over a plan for further actions. The goal of this game is extremely simple. There are class dungeons on every continent. The player's task is to kill all bosses on 7 continents. He thinks about it and says that. However, for this he needs to become stronger. It's time to go to the dungeon. He leaves and thinks that dungeons are also divided into ranks. Everyone begins their passage from the lowest, rank F. Jinfrey comes to the portal, and the system notifies that this is a portal to the entrance of a dungeon of rank C. The forest where the guards live, a dungeon of rank C. The clearing condition is to defeat the main boss.